You know that feeling when you think you know what you want to do, but the moment you see someone else doing it differently, maybe more confident, more polished, more right, you start to question everything? Yeah, that one. I see it all the time in myself, in the clients I work with. We all show up in the world with our unique energy, our cosmic blueprint. But when we look around and we see others doing it differently, it's easy to think, maybe I'm doing it wrong. And we immediately start to second guess ourselves. Let me give you an example of this. Early in my career, I was hired to be an executive assistant because I had proven my ability to be proactive at work. But I had never been an executive assistant before, so I did what many of us do. I started researching how can I be the best executive assistant possible. I bought an ebook, I took notes, and I followed somebody else's framework. But the problem is, I was taking advice from someone who had no idea that my strengths were not in replicating somebody else's process, but in finding my own. And so I spent the first few weeks learning their method, and then I spent the next 6 months doing anything but my job because I was so frustrated with it. And by the time that I left the role 3 years later, I honestly was filled with regrets about that because in that setting, I didn't trust myself. I spent the entire time trying to follow somebody else's way of doing things rather than aligning with my own. Fast forward to today. I'm an HR director, and I'm a speaker and a coach focused on busting the taboo around astrology in the workplace. That alone causes me a lot of second guessing. Sometimes I think it would be easier to do what other people in the corporate spaces are doing. Focus on leadership framework, communication models, behavioral assessments, but not astrology. And it would be so easy for me to say, let me tone down the woo-woo weirdo stuff and stick to what's more acceptable and what I see happening around me. But the thing is, that's not me. I'm here to talk about both because that's the alignment that I'm called to live into. I still do communication, I do leadership, I do strategy, and I'm really, really good at it. But I can't disconnect that from my passion for astrology because I'm not meant to. That's how I find my own sense of purpose. And it's tough because nobody shows me the right way to do this. It would be so nice if somebody did, like, hand me a manual, hand me a map, and I will get to work. But instead, what I have to do, what all of us have to do, is face the doubt. I have to face my second guessing. And then when I do that, I can reroute into who I know I am. And for me, I do that by remembering my birth chart. It doesn't give me that map necessarily, but it does remind me about what's true about me so that I can decide where I want to go and what's aligned with that truth. For a lot of us, second guessing shows up when we don't have clear external proof. We want somebody to tell us that we're making the right decision, right? It would be so much easier if someone said, yeah, this is the decision you have to make. Whether it's hiring somebody, taking a new job of our own, writing that difficult email, or setting a boundary, it would be so much easier if we had somebody say, yep, that's the right way to do it. But most of the time, that external validation never comes. We have to give it for ourselves. And that is so much easier to do when we root our decisions in alignment, not somebody else's rules, not what looks confident for somebody else, but what is energetically true for us. So how do we do this practically? Because this could feel really out there. I want to bring it into reality. Let's say you're second guessing yourself. Maybe it's a choice that you made recently or one that you need to make soon. I want you to bring that situation to mind. No judgment. We're going to stay really neutral and curious in this. The first thing I want you to do is just acknowledge it. This is the first step in the vast majority of what I teach. Acknowledge it. Neutrally see where you're at. You're second guessing. You're ruminating. You're hesitating. You're overanalyzing. That's a fact, not a flaw. It is what we do. After you acknowledge that, then I want you to ask, what is the doubt really about? And here's where your big three are going to come in, your sun, moon, and rising signs, because a lot of times, second guessing is your system telling you you're ignoring a core truth about yourself, or you're being asked to act from a part of you that you're not fully comfortable with yet. I want to repeat that. Oftentimes, second guessing is your system telling you that either you are ignoring something that is a core truth about yourself, or you're being asked to act from a part of you that you're not fully comfortable with yet. When I was an executive assistant, I didn't know my Capricorn moon yet. The part of me that thrives on structure and challenge and a high achievement. That job met those needs. I didn't trust it. I thought that I had to do it someone else's way. Later, when I was married to a pastor, I was constantly second guessing myself as a pastor's wife. And that was just because so much of that role required me to support norms that excluded other people, and they clashed hard with my Aquarius sun, which pushes boundaries and champions collective well-being. Both of those times, that second guessing was not proof that I was broken. It was a sign that I was out of alignment. So once you've done that, you've acknowledged it, you're starting to see where this second guessing is coming from. Then I want you to ask better questions. Here's a few journal questions you can use based on your sun, moon, and rising. And if you don't know them yet, pause. Pause this podcast for a minute. Pause the video if you're watching it. And I want you to go to mosttrueyou.com/guide. And that guide is going to walk you step by step through how to find your sun, moon, and rising sign, how to pull your birth chart, where do you do that, how do you identify them, and what they are. If you're not 100% sure what those are, you know how to find your birth chart, still use the guide. It's short, it's simple, it's beautiful. It's free. I cannot recommend it enough. So once you know your sun, moon, and rising sign, I want you to think through, journal through, talk through, think through these questions. Does this doubt indicate that I'm going against how I naturally shine, my sun sign? Might this doubt be indicating a place that I'm not honoring my emotional needs? Your moon sign will help you with that. And then, is this doubt or is this second guessing about the way that I see the world or how I want to be seen? That's going to be your rising sign. So think through that. What is it connected to? Is it connected to your sun sign, how you shine? Your moon sign, what you need, your emotional needs? Your sense of well-being? Or is it connected to how you see the world, that lens that you see the world through and the others see you through, the rising sign? And then I want you to think about alignment. So let's say that your rising sign is Cancer. You're empathic, you're nurturing, you're home-oriented, but you're trying to thrive in a high-conflict, fast-paced work culture. That tension is not weakness. It's a misalignment. You don't need to fix yourself to fit into that culture. You need to ask, how can I bring my Cancer rising strengths of empathy and nurture into this space, or find a new space that honors them? Those are two different questions, but they're both worth asking. So here's an example from one of my clients. She had a really great job offer, but she was naturally second guessing it. It was a huge decision. It was exciting, but it meant leaving a company that she had grown up in. And she was asking, is this the right decision for me? So we looked at her chart. Her South Node is in Cancer, North Node in Capricorn. She values family really deeply, but her soul's growth path is in structure and leadership. She has Libra Sun and Libra Rising, so she is wired to make decisions that consider everybody. That's a big part of why she was thinking about how this decision was going to impact everybody at her current role. And then her Sagittarius moon, it craves expansion and new experiences, especially ones that she can turn into wisdom for other people. So this new job was aligned, but she was afraid of disappointing the people that she cared about. So we mapped out what she needed to ask for in that new role to feel secure enough to take it. And she did that. She moved forward with certainty to a certain extent, yeah, but more than that, with alignment. And you know what I love about this? There's some really cool parts of this. Her old company celebrated her move, and now in her new role, she's actually working in partnership with her old company from the new role. She trusted herself, not the crowd. She worked from a place of alignment, even without 100% certainty. So the takeaway for you is I want you to stop trying to get it right. I want you to start asking not, is this right? But is this aligned? in that you're going to feel more confident because that's a completely different decision. You're going to feel more confident. You're going to feel more energized. You're going to feel more satisfied when your decisions reflect your energetic truth and your cosmic blueprint. Okay, your next steps. Download the free guide to your big three, finding your astrology. It's mosttrueyou.com/guide. I'll put the link in the notes. And then journal through the decision that you're second guessing, either a decision you've already made that you're ruminating about, maybe overanalyzing happens, or the decision that you are trying to make, and look at where might this be out of alignment with your sun, moon, or rising sign, or where might this be calling you into deeper alignment with those signs? Might be being asked to step out of your comfort zone a little bit here. And then I want you to email me. Send me an email at hello@mosttrueyou.com and tell me about the decision that you're second guessing. Tell me what you're finding as you do this. And if you're interested, book a chart reading. Let's dive into your chart together and look at how you can make decisions that are aligned not only with your big three, but with your entire chart, your entire cosmic blueprint. I will put that link in the show notes as well. Remember, you already have the answers. Your chart is not going to make the decision for you, but it will show you how to make them in alignment with your true self. This is what I want for you, to be rooted, aligned in your true self. Let's stop second guessing and start showing up in alignment with our cosmic blueprint.